Hey guys, welcome back to Resistance Chicks. We're your hosts, Leah and Michelle. Today is the, 11th of August, 2019. I had to think about that for a second. It's technically the 9th of Av, which is the Hebrew holiday where, listen, this is the word I have for you today. If you come here for the news, well, guess what? You're getting a word from the Lord. This holiday, it's not really a holiday, it's just kind of like a holy day, represents when the spies came back going into the promised land. God says, go and take the promised land, I'll be with you. And they come back and they're like, we can't do it. And Joshua and Caleb were like, dude, we can totally take this land. God will be with us. And they didn't do it. And then they had to wander for 40 years. I think actually they repented and they were like, wait, no, we'll go. And God was like, you ain't get to go. And nobody over the age of 20 right now is going to end up in the promised land except for Joshua and Caleb. So the word from the Lord for you today is, whatever God tells you today to do, go on and do it. Okay, so we're going to go across our American pond to
Sunday
Europe.
is our UK, Euro, and basically world news, even though we cover lots of world news. During the week, we try to focus especially on our brothers and sisters across either pond in either direction.
Yes.
And
all around.
oh,
That's the worst.
Yeah.
And then your lipstick.
that's just stupid.
But Tommy's doing okay in prison. He's doing fine.
Yeah, so I have a little video from Ezra. You guys can watch it. But I wanted to share this. This is from Russia. The official Twitter account of the Ministry of Foreign Affairs of Russia.
Okay.
Tweets out Tommy Robinson. The hair is not gone.
Let me help it. I would get it. I have fingernails.
No.
Let me get it.
Don't.
I will find it.
It says, Zakova on the sentence of the journalist and civil activist Tommy Robinson. We will continue to closely monitor this case, mainly from the perspective of Britain's declared commitment to the immutability of high human rights standards. Whatever. It's from Russia. And I love that Ezra Levant says, I'm sorry to trigger all the Russian conspiracy theorists, but this is a fair point. If a Russian journalist who criticized Putin policies were sentenced to 9 months solitary confinement, we call it an outrage too embarrassing that it falls to Russia to make this point.
It is embarrassing.
So Ezra Levant made a quick
Hello, everybody.
24-hour turnaround visit to Tommy.
He's been doing that. I think this is like the second or third time.
I'm really happy, and I'm glad that he's doing this. Tommy needs to. He's got. I mean, right now he's got Avi and Ezra as far as his like big
support,
true supporters. And I was just thinking today about Colin and George and how they just went stupid and just this awful situation there.
With friends like that,
you don't need enemies. So let me play a clip here from. Obviously, not going to see Tommy, but I'm going to play this a little bit from Ezra, and then I want you guys go watch his video on Rebel Media YouTube.
It's Ezra Levant from the Rebel.media sitting in the back of a car. I just left HMP Belmarsh, the high security prison on the East End of London, where Tommy Robinson is serving out his 9-month sentence for contempt of court. I am en route to Paddington Station, a train station that has a direct train to Heathrow. And it's a lot quicker than taking a car. London's traffic is notorious. So I have about an hour in the car, and I checked with the driver, and he's fine with me not only 10 minutes ago. And I had arrived, I only arrived in the UK a few hours ago, so I'm a little jet lagged, so I beg your forgiveness in advance for any mumbling or misspeaking. I promise you it's just the jet lag, despite the 2 Red Bulls and 2 espressos and 1 Coke.
my goodness,
let me
son.
start with the good
Coke.
news, and then I'll give you a little bit of bad news, and then I'll, as they say, the good, the bad, and the ugly. The good news is, in 5 seconds, I could tell that Tommy is healthy. He's healthy physically, and he's healthy psychologically. And that's important to say. That might sound obvious. It is not at all obvious, because he wasn't okay in HMP only. He just wasn't. He was half starved. He lost 40 pounds, 3 stone, as they say in the UK, in his 10 weeks of incarceration. He was absolutely shell-shocked and stressed from being put in solitary confinement for 23 and a half hours a day. No exercise, no human contact, not even a TV to give him a voice. And then in the half hour a day he was let out of that box, it was to be in like a Thunderdome where he was shouted and screamed at by the other prisoners for half an hour. So 23 and a half hours a day of silence, sensory deprivation, and then half an hour a day of absolute abuse. That is a dictionary definition of torture, both on the physical side, starving him, and on the mental health, psychological side. Let me contrast that to his treatment at Belmarsh, where I asked him how he's eating. He says that the food that they give him is fine. And if, there we go, we're live again. We blacked out for a second there. So just in case I got cut off, Tommy said that, and let me just go through there, get in the car to go to the airport, but the 2 other guests were there.
Yeah.
They were personal friends of Tommy, so it's great to see him laugh. I know that's something we take for granted. On the outside, I don't think there's a lot of laughter in prison.
So I'm going to give you kind of the rundown. They didn't get all the time that they were supposed to have with Tommy because there were many other people before them, and they were actually in line, but they took everybody else in front of Tommy's group that was going in to see him. So they missed like 50 minutes that they were supposed to have with Tommy.
I'm curious though, if you have to be on an approved list to go in and see him.
Oh, I'm sure. Yeah, and Tommy's not getting all of your letters because they have to have they have to have somebody read all of his letters to make sure there's no terrorism enclosed. And Ezra laughed because he's like, some old lady, in the UK is just trying to write Tommy an encouraging letter.
Tommy, I'm so sorry that you've been falsely imprisoned, and I want you to know I would love to bake you some cookies.
I know.
Terrorist.
Right.
Terrorist.
And I guess they had, in order to, I guess towards the end, he said that when he understood having to have like bomb sniffers and dogs, these dogs around him, even though Ezra likes dogs. So Ezra thought maybe they were trying to intimidate him with the dogs, but he's like, I like dogs. But normally you get your stuff out of a locker because you can't take anything metal in. You take your shoes off, belt off, everything put in a locker. He says, normally you get your stuff out of a locker and you walk right out. And he had to be checked
with the sniffing dogs
and patted down to make sure he's like, I've never seen that happen before.
Yeah, like I'm going to take something from Tommy, like a letter or something.
Right.
Unbelievable.
Okay, so as everybody is here, do you guys, how many of you remember we played this clip here?
This was painful for me.
With Richard Gere, who he is working with the Soros-funded NGO Open Arms to bully Italy into taking economic migrants. Salvini called this a political provocation and accused the NGO of aiding human trafficking. Why is it Richard Gere housing and feeding these migrants? I'm going to play Richard Gere's clip.
I bet he's got some money.
And then I'm going to play... No, I'm not going to play Richard Gere's clip. I'm going to play Richard Gere's clip here, and then I'm going to give you Salvini's response because Salvini wasn't taking anything.
And everyone is doing okay now.
Why? I can't make it big. I guess it doesn't. Of course, they don't want you to hear what the Open Borders New World Order.
Okay, now they were on 2 boats in the middle of the ocean. One of the boats was turned back and taken by the Libyan Navy. We don't know what happened to them. The 2 boats that were rescued here, probably all hands on board would have been lost. So the people that you see here on this boat, they're only here because of the donations to Open Arms, to the work that Open Arms does. And now for the most important thing for these people here is to be able to get to a free port, be able to get off the boat, get on land and start a new life, be taken care of and make a life for themselves. So please support us here.
Now,
he said please support us, by the way. Did you know
I'm curious because the way that I understood that these NGO boats were representing themselves were, listen, it's not exactly what we would want. This is the face I thought they were putting. We wouldn't want all these people coming over, but it is a humanitarian thing for us to go and rescue them. But now Richard Gere is coming right out and just saying, we open arms. We want you to donate. We want all of these people to be able to come over. So it's like their mask of, we're just out here because these people might die and we got to help them out. No.
He wants an open port. Why not take him back to Libya?
Good question.
I would actually give money, maybe, to the NGOs if they were helping them in the ocean and taking them back.
Right.
They're not. They're taking them to Europe.
Right.
This is not a rescue operation.
No.
All right. So what does a Matteo Salvini have to say to a Mr. Richard Gere? Matteo Salvini offers Richard Gere to take the migrants to his own Hollywood villas after this little altercation here. This pretty woman star dropped by an NGO vessel that rescued over 120 migrants from the rafts at sea, but was not allowed to dock in Europe. He called on the Italian government to stop demonizing the newcomers. The country's interior minister, Matteo Salvini, known for his hardline stance on migration, responded with a tongue-in-cheek remark. Given that this generous millionaire is voicing concern for the fate of the open arms of migrants, we thank him. He can take them back to Hollywood on his private plane. All of the people on the board and support them in his villas. Thank you, Richard, Salvini tweeted, also posting a collage with gear and migrants from aboard the ship. Here is the tweet that Matteo Salvini put out. I
love this. Thank
this.
you for your care and concern, and I assume you're going to be taking these people back with you to your Hollywood private home and housing them and caring for them.
The film star has weighed in on the migrant crisis facing Mediterranean countries where many people are trying to illegally cross the sea from North Africa on rafts and other unsafe vessels. He visited one of the so-called rescue vessels picking up such migrants, a ship belonging to the NGO Open Arms. The Spanish boat, which now has 160 migrants on board, including minors, has been stranded for 9 days as both Italy and Malta have refused to let it dock. Guess what? You can turn around, baby, and you go straight back to Libya. Go on. Go. While the EU is trying to figure out what to do with it. The 69-year-old actor brought food to the ship, which is said to run out of supplies soon, and took part in a press conference on Italy's Lampedusa Island, where the ship now is. He compared Italy's politics to the stance of the Trump administration, who and called on both politicians to cease demonizing migrants.
Okay, so people are allowed to leave tongue-in-cheek comments on our channel. I think it was received, even though there was a just kidding as not. I read it hilariously. Turkle says, our moderators accidentally deleted both of your comments, my friend. Please forgive them. He says, I'm Italian and I'm highly offended of your appropriation of the Italian accent and will report you to Hate Not Hope and other NGOs now. Wink. Just kidding. And I think that was, I got it.
That's a funny joke.
Ha, ha, ha.
That's a funny joke.
It was funny.
Leave that up.
It was good. I can't undelete comments apparently.
Italy is reported one of the most popular destinations and entry ports for migrants, with over 20,000 sea arrivals in 2018 alone. And Salvini is doing other things. He is now he wants to fine these boats $1 million.
Oh, wow.
Yeah.
That would, if he actually did though, I mean, that would shut this thing down instantly.
Yeah.
Your alarm's going off.
I don't even know which one it's for. So get me fine.
Ridiculous. I mean, it's so crazy. All right. We love you guys. God loves you. And God bless. And have a wonderful rest of your Sunday.
Beginning of your week.
Bye, guys.
I was cold.